My dear brothers and sisters, in life, every single one of us carries a burden. Some carry it on their shoulders, some in their hearts, and some hide it behind a smile. Struggles are not a sign of weakness, they are a sign that you are human. But wisdom lies not in having problems, wisdom lies in how you handle them. One of the greatest mistakes we make is telling our problems to everyone we meet. Not everyone who listens cares. Some listen out of curiosity, some out of entertainment, some out of comparison, and sadly some out of jealousy. When you expose your wounds to the wrong people, they don't heal, they deepen. Remember this, not every ear is a safe place for your pain. Complaining repeatedly weakens the heart. It trains the soul to focus on what is missing instead of what remains. But patience, beautiful patience, builds strength within you. Silence, when paired with trust in the Almighty, is not weakness, it is power. When hardship strikes, the first place you should turn is not social media, not the crowd, not even your closest circle. Turn to the one who controls all outcomes. Speak to the one who never gets tired of listening. Speak to the one who already knows your pain, even before you put it into words. People may sympathize today and forget tomorrow, but the Creator never forgets, He never abandons, He never betrays a secret. Yes, seek help when needed, but seek it wisely. Choose those who are sincere, knowledgeable, and trustworthy, and even then, share only what is necessary. Your privacy is a form of protection. Your dignity is worth guarding. Some people talk about their problems so much that the problem becomes their identity. Don't let that happen to you. You are bigger than your struggle. You are stronger than your hardship. What you are going through is a chapter, not the entire story. Sometimes the reason your heart feels heavy is not the problem itself, but the fact that you've repeated it too many times to the wrong people. Release your worries through prayer, through reflection, through action, not through endless complaints. And remember, when you keep your struggles between you and your Lord, solutions come from places you never imagined. When you rely on Him, He replaces anxiety with peace. When you trust His plan, even pain becomes purposeful. So guard your tongue, guard your heart, guard your privacy, and walk forward with patience, faith, and quiet strength. Because not everyone needs to know your problems, but the one who can solve them already does. Not everyone needs to know your struggles, and understanding this truth can transform the way you live, think, and heal. Human beings naturally desire to be heard, understood, and comforted. When pain enters our lives, the instinct is to speak about it, to unload it, to tell anyone who will listen. But wisdom teaches us that not every listener is meant to carry our story. Some people hear without empathy, some without sincerity, and some without the maturity to protect what they hear. When struggles are shared carelessly, they often return to us as judgment, gossip, misunderstanding, or even silent harm. There is a difference between seeking help and seeking attention. Seeking help requires intention, discernment, and trust. Seeking attention often comes from desperation and emotional overflow. When a person tells their problems to everyone, they unknowingly give others power over their emotions. Words, once released, cannot be retrieved. A private struggle can quickly become public opinion, and public opinion is rarely gentle. What begins as vulnerability can turn into regret. Silence, when chosen wisely, is not suppression, it is strength. It is the ability to carry yourself with dignity even when your heart feels heavy. Some of the strongest people you will ever meet are those who smile not because life is easy, but because they have learned where to place their pain. They understand that not every battle needs an audience. Not every storm needs commentary. Some storms are meant to pass quietly while shaping you into someone stronger. Another reality we must face is that not everyone wants good for you, even if they appear friendly. Some people are uncomfortable with your growth and quietly pleased by your struggles. When you share your difficulties openly, you give such people unnecessary access to your vulnerabilities. They may not sabotage you openly, but their thoughts, their words, and their intentions are not always pure. Wisdom teaches restraint, not paranoia. It teaches awareness, not isolation. Choosing who to confide in is an act of self-respect. It is recognizing that your pain has value and should be handled with care. A trustworthy person listens without spreading, advises without belittling, and supports without judgment. Such people are rare. When you find them, appreciate them. Until then, learn to be selective. Not everyone deserves to know what keeps you awake at night. There is also an unseen spiritual dimension to this. Excessive complaining dulls gratitude. When the tongue becomes accustomed to speaking only of hardship, the heart forgets blessings. Silence allows reflection. Reflection brings clarity, and clarity opens doors to solutions. Many answers come when the noise of constant explanation disappears. In quiet moments, strength grows. Oversharing also delays healing. Repeating the same pain over and over keeps reopening wounds that are trying to close. Each retelling forces the heart to relive the hurt. Sometimes the most merciful thing you can do for yourself is to stop narrating your pain and start rebuilding your peace. Healing does not always need words. Sometimes it needs patience, prayer, and time. This does not mean you walk alone or reject support. It means you choose it carefully. It means you speak when speech brings benefit, not when it brings harm. It means understanding that your worth is not measured by how much sympathy you receive, but by how resilient you become. Those who master this wisdom find a unique calm within themselves. They learn to rely less on external validation and more on inner strength. They stop explaining themselves to people who will never understand them. They stop seeking comfort from those who cannot provide it, and in doing so, they protect their peace. In the end, not everyone needs to know your struggles because not everyone is part of your solution. Some are simply part of the crowd. Choose wisely who enters your inner circle. Guard your story. Guard your heart. And remember that true strength often grows quietly, away from the noise, away from unnecessary eyes, and away from careless ears. Complaining may feel like relief in the moment, but over time it quietly weakens the heart. When a person constantly voices their frustrations, disappointments, and hardships, the mind becomes trained to see life through the lens of loss and difficulty. The problem begins to feel bigger than it truly is, not because it has grown, but because it has been fed with constant attention. The heart, instead of becoming resilient, becomes dependent on complaint as an emotional outlet. This habit slowly drains inner strength and replaces it with restlessness. The more a person complains, the less patient they become. Small inconveniences start to feel unbearable. Minor delays feel like major injustices. This is because complaining conditions the soul to expect ease at all times. And when ease does not arrive, frustration takes over. Patience, on the other hand, teaches acceptance without surrender. It does not mean you like the difficulty. It means you trust that there is purpose beyond what you can currently see. Complaining focuses on what is wrong. Patience focuses on what can be learned. One weakens the spirit, the other builds it. A patient heart does not deny pain, but it refuses to be ruled by it. It acknowledges the struggle while believing that the struggle will not last forever. This belief alone brings strength. When a person stops complaining and starts enduring with grace, they begin to notice that hardship no longer controls their emotions the way it once did. There is also a subtle danger in habitual complaining. It pushes away people. Even those who care deeply can feel emotionally drained by constant negativity. Over time, the listener may begin to distance themselves not out of cruelty but out of exhaustion. The one who complains then feels misunderstood and alone, reinforcing the very pain they were trying to escape. Patience, however, attracts respect. People may not always know your struggles, but they admire the calm with which you carry yourself. Patience strengthens the heart by teaching self-control. It teaches you to pause before reacting, to think before speaking, and to respond rather than explode. This self-control is power. It allows you to face trials without losing your character. Anyone can complain when things go wrong, but it takes strength to remain composed, hopeful, and dignified in the face of adversity. When patience replaces complaint, the mind becomes clearer. Instead of repeating the problem, you start searching for solutions. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you begin asking, "What is this teaching me?" That shift in mindset changes everything. Solutions often come when emotional noise settles. Complaining keeps the mind stuck in chaos. Patience creates space for wisdom. There is also peace that comes with patience that complaining can never offer. Complaining demands an audience and validation. Patience needs neither. It draws strength from within and trust from above. A patient person may feel pain deeply, but they are not constantly reopening it with words. They allow time to do its work. They understand that some answers come slowly and some relief arrives only after endurance. Patience does not mean silence in the face of injustice or passivity in hardship. It means maintaining balance. It means striving to improve your situation without losing faith when progress feels slow. It means accepting that some things are beyond your control while still doing your best with what is within it. Over time, patience reshapes the heart. What once felt unbearable becomes manageable. What once caused despair becomes a source of strength. You look back and realize that the moments you thought would break you were the moments that built you. Complaining never produces this outcome. It leaves a person emotionally tired, spiritually empty, and mentally stuck. A patient heart grows stronger because it leans on trust rather than frustration. It believes that hardship has an end, even when the end is not visible. It believes that ease follows difficulty, even when the path feels long. This belief is not naive optimism, it is grounded strength. When you choose patience over complaint, you are choosing growth over stagnation. You are choosing inner peace over temporary release. You are choosing to build a heart that can withstand storms rather than one that collapses under their weight. And with time, that patience turns into quiet confidence, the kind that does not need to announce itself, yet is felt by everyone around you. Turning to the Creator first rather than the creation is one of the most powerful shifts a person can make in their life. When difficulty strikes, the natural reaction is to look outward, to people, to resources, to reassurance from others. While human support has its place, problems arise when it becomes the first and primary source of comfort. People are limited, their patience runs out, their understanding is incomplete, and their ability to help is restricted by circumstances they do not control. Placing ultimate reliance on them often leads to disappointment. Turning first to the one who controls all outcomes brings a different kind of strength. One that is steady, deep, and lasting. The Creator knows your pain before you speak it. He knows what you hide behind your silence and what you struggle to explain. There is no need to impress, exaggerate, or justify yourself when you turn to Him. You do not have to find the right words or the perfect explanation. Even when your heart feels too heavy to speak, He understands. This awareness alone brings comfort. It reminds you that you are never unseen, never unheard, and never abandoned, no matter how isolated your situation feels. When people turn to others first, they often shape their words to gain sympathy or approval. This can distort the truth of what they are experiencing. But when you turn to the Creator, there is no performance. There is only honesty. This honesty cleanses the heart. It allows you to confront your fears, weaknesses, and hopes without shame. In that space of sincerity, healing begins. Relying on the Creator first also protects you from emotional dependence on people. When your peace depends on how others respond, your heart becomes unstable. A kind word lifts you temporarily. A careless response crushes you unexpectedly. But when your heart is anchored in divine reliance, people's reactions no longer control your emotional state. Appreciation is welcomed, but absence does not destroy you. Support is valued, but lack of it does not break you. There is wisdom in understanding that help comes from people, but it comes through the permission of the Creator. When you turn to Him first, you align your heart with that reality. You stop seeing people as saviors and begin seeing them as means. This perspective prevents resentment. If someone fails to help you, you do not collapse in bitterness because your hope was never placed fully in them to begin with. Turning to the Creator first also cultivates patience. When answers do not seem immediately, you learn to wait without despair. You learn that delays are not denials, and silence is not abandonment. Some solutions are withheld not as punishment, but as preparation. The heart that turns to the Creator learns to trust timing, even when understanding is absent. This trust strengthens resilience in ways no motivational speech or reassurance ever could. Another profound effect of turning to the Creator first is inner clarity. In moments of distress, the mind is often clouded by fear and emotion. Turning inward through prayer, reflection, and remembrance calms the storm. As the heart settles, decisions become clearer. You begin to see paths you could not see before, not because circumstances changed, but because your perspective did. This reliance also brings humility. You realize that strength does not come from control, but from surrender. Not surrender to helplessness, but surrender to wisdom greater than your own. This humility removes the burden of thinking you must solve everything alone. It frees you from the exhausting need to have all the answers. You do your part, but you trust the outcome to the one who sees what you cannot. Turning to the Creator first does not mean isolating yourself from people or refusing help. It means setting the correct order. It means grounding your heart before engaging the world. When you do this, conversations become healthier, requests become clearer, and relationships become more balanced. You no longer approach people from desperation, but from stability. Over time, this practice transforms hardship itself. Trials become moments of connection rather than moments of collapse. Pain becomes a doorway to growth rather than a dead end. You begin to notice that even when circumstances remain difficult, your heart feels lighter. That lightness is not the absence of problems, it is the presence of trust. When you turn to the Creator first, you learn that peace is not found in answers, but in reliance. You learn that strength is not loud but quiet, and you learn that even in the deepest moments of struggle, you are never truly alone. Privacy is not secrecy born of fear, it is protection born of wisdom. In a world where sharing has become effortless and exposure is often celebrated, guarding your personal struggles is an act of self-respect. When you protect your privacy, you protect your peace. Not every detail of your life needs an audience, and not every chapter needs to be read by everyone. Some moments are meant to be lived, learned from, and healed within the quiet space of dignity. Oversharing often comes from a desire to be understood, but it can unintentionally invite harm. When personal struggles are exposed too widely, they become subject to opinions, assumptions, and judgments. People interpret your pain through the lens of their own experiences, biases, and limitations. What you intended as vulnerability may be received as weakness. What you hoped would bring support may instead bring criticism or misunderstanding. Privacy shields you from this unnecessary emotional weight. There is also the reality of envy and ill intention. Not everyone who hears about your life wishes you well. Some people smile while silently comparing. Some listen while quietly hoping you fail. Others may not consciously wish harm, but their negative energy, careless words, or skepticism can still affect you. Protecting your privacy is not about mistrusting everyone. It is about understanding human nature and choosing caution over regret. When you keep certain matters private, you give yourself the space to process emotions honestly. Public struggles often pressure people to perform strength or maintain consistency with what they have already shared. Private struggles allow you to change, to grow, to heal without explanation. You are not forced to update others on your progress or justify your setbacks. This freedom is essential for true healing. Privacy also preserves dignity during hardship. Struggles can make a person feel exposed and vulnerable. Broadcasting them can intensify feelings of shame or helplessness. But when difficulties are kept within a trusted circle or between you and your Creator, you retain control over your narrative. You decide when, how, and if your story is told. That control strengthens confidence and self-worth. Another hidden benefit of privacy is clarity. When fewer people are involved in your personal matters, there are fewer opinions to confuse you. Too many voices can drown out your own intuition and wisdom. Privacy allows you to listen inwardly, to reflect deeply, and to make decisions without external pressure. It helps you distinguish between advice that is helpful and noise that is distracting. There is strength in being composed without explanation. When people do not know the full weight you carry, they witness your patience and resilience rather than your pain. This does not mean pretending everything is perfect. It means choosing grace over exposure. Quiet strength often commands more respect than public struggle. Privacy also helps protect relationships. When conflicts, disappointments, or frustrations are shared indiscriminately, they can damage bonds permanently. Words spoken in emotional moments may not represent the full truth, yet once shared, they cannot be taken back. Keeping matters private allows emotions to settle and wisdom to guide your response, reducing regret and long-term harm. Protecting your peace means recognizing that your energy is limited. Every explanation, every defense, every response to judgment consumes emotional strength. Privacy conserves that strength. It allows you to invest your energy where it truly matters, in growth, healing, and purposeful action, rather than constant clarification. In a time where validation is often sought through visibility, choosing privacy is a quiet rebellion. It is a declaration that your worth does not depend on how many people know your struggles or sympathize with your pain. Your journey is valuable even if it is unseen. Your growth matters even if it is unannounced. Ultimately, privacy is not about hiding, it is about safeguarding. It is about understanding that some things flourish best when protected. Seeds grow underground before they break the surface. Likewise, personal growth often happens in silence before it becomes visible. When you protect your privacy, you allow yourself the space to heal fully, to grow authentically, and to move forward with peace intact. By guarding your personal struggles, you are not closing yourself off from the world. You are choosing balance. You are choosing wisdom over impulse. And in doing so, you protect not only your dignity, but the calm and strength that carry you through life's challenges. In conclusion, understand that strength is not found in how loudly we speak about our struggles, but in how wisely we carry them. Not everyone needs access to your pain,